Okay.
Welcome back to Running on Empty, the summit about filling your tank and having more energy so that you can get done what you need to get done. Today, I'm Beth Genly. I'm usually Beth Genly, your host, and today I'm interviewing Alisa Blum. For over 20 years, Alisa Blum has shared with her clients an in-depth understanding of human behavior and innovative learning strategies as a trainer, psychotherapist, supervisor, training director, and consultant. She is principal consultant of Alisa Blum and Associates. In 2014, Alisa and Judith Sugg formed AIM for Organizational Health, which provides programs designed to raise awareness, achieve integration, and enable mastery of mindfulness tools to improve individual and organizational effectiveness. So all of that is why I wanted to talk to you today, Alisa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Beth. I'm looking forward to this.
So we're talking about professionals who have pushed themselves way too hard and are suffering from exhaustion. And I know that your interest is on improving focus. So tell us, how does improving focus help you deal with this overwhelm?
Yeah, we are in overwhelm today. Everybody is. We're in a place in our culture where distractibility is everywhere. When you think about it, anytime you have a thought about anything you want to know, you can Google it, right? I know there's so many times where I don't get done the things I need to get done because I go off on all these tangents with Google. So we have to really be aware of how all that searching online can eat up our time and not make us real productive. And then we've got this electronic leash that we're carrying around with us. People can text us at any time of the day and email us at any time of the day. And we have just all of these distractions that are pulling us in so many different directions. So that's why this is so important to integrate mindfulness techniques to help us be more effective. And a lot of companies have been doing this over the last 10 years. Companies like Google and Aetna and Intel and General Mills have had these very robust mindfulness programs, and they've been doing research, and they've shown how much they help people to decrease stress and improve productivity.
Well, decreasing stress and improving productivity is what we're all about here. So what are some of the ways that mindfulness can help with that?
There are a lot of ways mindfulness can help with that. And I would like to take you through an activity, if I can, which can...
I'd love that.
Okay, great. I've actually got a couple different activities we could do today. And this is one that is really helpful in improving your focus when it comes to writing texts and emails. It's called mindful texting or mindful emailing. And this is important because when we're writing texts and writing emails really fast, miscommunication can be a huge problem.
Tell me about it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right? Say things in a way that are offensive that we don't mean to be offensive, sending your email to the wrong person. I had a situation once a number of years ago where a business coach that I had hired had written a negative email about me and sent it to me instead of someone else. So that was just horrifying on so many levels.
Yeah, really.
So all of us have had situations kind of on one end or the other. And then there have been times I know myself, I've texted the wrong person. I've texted like the last person I texted to and not the person I meant to text to. So we had to have just increased awareness about what we're doing and slow things down a little bit. Because when we're moving too fast, we can have lots of problems. So Beth, would you join me in this exercise?
With pleasure. I don't think I've ever heard of a mindfulness exercise for texting and emailing before, but it seems like exactly something we need. Let's do it.
Great. And everybody here listening can easily join in on this.
Awesome.
So if you could either compose a short text or a short email right now, but don't send it.
I don't have my phone with me, so I'll do it mentally.
Or write it down.
Okay.
You can just write it down.
Okay.
Got it? Okay, now I'd like you to just read it to yourself and make any changes you want to make, but don't send it yet.
Okay.
Got it? All right, the next thing I'd like you to do is read it from the perspective of the person you're sending it to, but don't send it yet.
Okay.
Okay, you got it?
Mhm.
Now read it one more time. And then imagine if you were sending it, and then all of you listening, if you're doing this with us, you can now, if you're happy with your email or your text, you can send it. So what was that like for you, Beth, to do that?
It was really useful.
Uh-huh.
What I wrote was, I'm talking to AB right now, TTYL, talk to you later.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking, I don't know who this message is for, really, but they probably don't know who AB is because I haven't introduced you yet. I'm just introducing you now.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people don't know the initials that are used in email. So TTYL could be just a mysterious
Mm-hmm. Right.
gobbledygook. So yeah, I changed it a little bit.
Yeah. And so that doesn't take very long to do that, right? To just read things a couple times from your perspective, the perspective of somebody else, make a couple quick little changes. And that takes a whole lot less time than having to correct a mistake down the road. So I'm hoping for people who are listening today that that's just a nice, quick, easy activity that you can use.
I would add to that a lot of us dictate them, and the odd texts that you get if you send a dictated text without rereading it first.
Oh yeah.
So especially important then, I would think.
Oh yeah, I know. For me, I have a tone of voice that these electronic voices like Siri don't like, so I can never do that and have it make any sense at all. So that is something to be aware of, because we're always looking for shortcuts, and that's a shortcut a lot of people are using now. So I hope that that's helpful. The other thing I think it's important to think about is that when we are working on a project where we have to concentrate a lot on the task at hand, it does us a huge disservice to also try to keep up with emails and texts. And people don't realize that. You know, we think, oh, if we're multitasking, we're going to get things done a whole lot faster. And especially young people who have never done anything else but multitask. What happens in your brain is it gets hijacked. So every time you hear that ding from your phone or your mail, even if you don't check it, you're still thinking in your head, who texted me? Who emailed me? What could they want? And that takes that energy away from your brain functioning that you really need to work on that project. So it can be really helpful during certain times of the day where you need to focus to turn off your email, turn off your phone. You may need to let other people know that you're doing that. I know, because sometimes people say, oh, my coworkers expect that they can get a hold of me anytime. And, you know, so you may need to let them know, hey, I'm going to be spending the next 30 minutes working on such and such, and I can't be interrupted. So really think about that and be proactive, and that will help you a lot in managing your productivity and in feeling better. You know, it's really stressful to be managing you feel like a juggler all the time when you're managing all this stuff coming in to you.
Yeah,
so I
and
think,
then you have that experience of your mind going blank. What was I doing?
exactly.
What was that sentence that I thought was so brilliant a second ago that I didn't finish and it's gone now? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Or my mood is totally shifted now.
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then getting back to it is really hard and takes a lot of time.
And
so try doing that. And I think that will really help. Another thing that can help is to take mindfulness breaks. So, you know, if you're, you know, how often are we working and we just get exhausted? and our brain just goes, I just can't have another thought, can't do anything anymore. I need to energize myself. There are a number of ways that you can do this. One is we're in a situation now in our culture where mindfulness has become so popular that we can get apps that can help us. There's Calm and Headspace and Buddhify, and a lot of these apps have just short little 5-minute relaxation meditations that you can use. Even just going to music that you find soothing and listening to a song that's comforting for just a few minutes can be really helpful. The other thing that's helpful is what Janice Martinaro, who wrote the book Finding the Space to Lead, she's the one that got General Mills to get a mindfulness program in, and she coined the term purposeful pause. Mm-hmm. And the people that I train love learning about purposeful pauses because it's really easy to understand and to implement. And basically what that is that you take something that you would just do normally, like drinking your coffee, and just focus on that. How often do you go to Starbucks and you spend $5 on this expensive latte and, that has mocha in it, all kinds of stuff and whipped cream, and you're not even tasting it because your mind is just going a million directions at once. So just take that time to drink that coffee and enjoy it, or the same thing when you have a meal, a nice meal in front of you. Really enjoy what that meal tastes like instead of doing other things, checking your messages or LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever while you're eating. So taking those purposeful pauses can be beneficial in just many, many ways. One way that I think is super beneficial for people is to take a purposeful pause when they're driving. Sometimes I tell people I'm saving lives by giving this advice. And what you do is you just focus on what's going on with you in the car. So you turn off your radio, you turn off your phone, you feel what it's like to sit in the seat and hold the steering wheel and really pay attention to what's around you. And if you do that, you really notice the difference between what it's like when you're mindfully driving versus when you've got your radio going and you're getting phone calls and your map app and all kinds of stuff. So, and you could do that walking too. Just, go on a short mindful walk where you're just focusing on what it feels like to take your walk and enjoy the nature that's around you. But we have to develop an awareness of this, because what happens to us is that our minds just spin without us realizing that they're spinning. And once you become aware that this is happening, you can say, wait a minute, I need to stop and focus on what I'm doing right now. And you'll see how that really can help to reduce your stress.
So the level of mindfulness that you're talking about has to do with awareness and attention. Mm-hmm. Just really basic behaviors which we lose track of with all the dings and mm-hmm. buzzes exactly. and notifications of our right. world.
Right. And we think that that's normal. We think living a life of having all of these distractions is just a normal way of being. And we need to realize when that doesn't work for us. Mm-hmm. And when we realize when it doesn't work for us, then we need to figure out, okay, what strategies can I put in place so that I am feeling better and I'm not so exhausted and I'm working more productively.
That's really awesome. It kind of zeroes in on your workday. It doesn't take a macro look at it. It takes a really micro look on what can I do this minute, this hour mm-hmm. to retrieve some of my energy and recenter my attention where mm-hmm. I want it to go.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it helps us take more control of our lives too.
Control is another thing that we lose. You can feel like your day is spinning mm-hmm. out of control. So it's just great to have some more of that back. Yeah.
Right.
Do you have other suggestions that will help people improve their focus and productivity?
Yeah, I do. I think one of the things we lose control of is our free time.
Mm.
I mean, because we can be connected all the time, people don't realize how important it is to take those breaks from work. There's a reason you get days off. And people feel like, oh, I need to keep checking my email in case I'm missing something. And I found a lot of times at work, expectations around what your boss expects of you when you're not in the office are just not communicated. I did a training session one time, and the CEO of this organization said something so interesting to me. He said, because I'm so busy during the week, on weekends, I send emails to the people that work for me just because it's the only time I have to get some ideas out to them. And I said, and he goes, but I don't expect them to respond to me on the weekends. And I said to him, do they know that? And he said, no. And I said, well, that's something you really need to communicate with them, because a lot of times people feel like, oh, if my boss emails me, I need to respond, or he's going to think that I'm not working up to par.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really important to have that communication with the people that you work with about how to protect your time off, because it can be exhausting if you don't have those breaks, and we need that to recharge. And you can set boundaries with that too, and let people know, I'll check my emails on Sunday night so I can get prepared for Monday, but the rest of the weekend is mine because I really need that time. And you'll find that you really will feel a lot better. You'll be a lot more energized during the week when you give yourself that time. And the other thing tied to that, especially now that summer is coming up.
Can I interrupt you for a second? I have a couple of comments about this one before you go on to the next one.
Yeah.
One is if you have Google email, there is an app which is now incorporated into the Gmail called Boomerang. So if you really want to send emails on Saturday afternoon or whatever, you can instruct Boomerang to deliver them on Monday morning.
Oh.
So if you have inspiration at odd times, which I do, I work at home, right? So I work when I want to, and I don't work when I don't want to. So I often write emails at odd times. But since I'm someone that really promotes protecting your own time, I try to send them during banker's hours, during working hours.
Oh.
So I just Boomerang to do that when I remember.
So that's an excellent idea.
Isn't that cool? So then that boss can still send them out, but just send them when they more expect a response.
Right.
And then the other thing that I wanted to say is I often tell people to, for vacations or even weekends, to put an autoresponder in their email that says something really cheerful and upbeat about, I'll be checking my email on Sunday nights, but on the weekend, my time is for me and my family, and I'll be back to it on Monday and looking forward to talking to you. And what happens is people love those emails. They don't just think, oh, I can't contact them on a Saturday, what a drag. They think, oh, what a fabulous example. Good for them. It's very encouraging to get that kind of response, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, people are so hesitant about ever becoming less available. And so many people are looking for encouragement to become a little bit less available some of the time. So when they see something like that, they're like, yes. So I love this one.
Yeah, I was also thinking as you were saying that can set new norms in a workplace.
Yes.
Right?
It comes from the boss.
And even if it doesn't, right? You're sending out these notifications about when you're available, when you're not available, and other people have that reaction that you mentioned. Oh, this is a really great thing to do. And then other people start doing it. And then the next thing you know, that's how people start behaving at work. And that's a much healthier way to behave.
I love it. That's beautiful. Okay, then.
And that doesn't mean that there aren't times where you need to be available during your time off if there's a certain crisis you need to deal with. But hopefully that, that will happen occasionally, and that won't happen all the time.
Yeah, indeed.
So those are really important. And then tied to that is vacation time as we're getting into summer. I read a study a couple years ago by Glassdoor that said 66% of Americans do not take the vacation time that they earn at work, which I think to be very disturbing, because that is such an important way for our brains to recharge. And there is scientific data to back that up. So all of you out there, if you haven't planned your summer vacation yet, plan it and take it, because you will find yourself more energized and more motivated when you return to work, when you have that break.
Here's a question I get a lot. I'm so exhausted that if I took a vacation, all I would do during it is sleep anyway. So what's the point?
Well, you can take a staycation, right? You can just, and that may have something to do with that person's level of exhaustion. And to me, that says you need a vacation more than anything. So you don't even have to plan a trip anywhere. You can just say, I'm going to take 4 or 5 days away from the office and stay home and sleep till noon every day and be a tourist in my own city. It doesn't have to be a big thing that you plan or that costs a lot of money. You just need your time.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Anything else that you want to share on the topic of improving your focus to improve your productivity and thus to have more energy, which is just a great way to look at this problem?
Yeah, well, what we've talked about are individual strategies that you can use, but I'd encourage everybody to, in their workplaces, to have these discussions with their teams about how we can improve productivity. For example, meetings tend to get out of hand a lot. People complain about having so many meetings or that their meetings are too long. And I think it can be really helpful to evaluate which meetings are helpful, which meetings aren't. Are we staying on track in our meetings? Or are we going off tangent, and do we need to do something about that? One of our clients who went through our training told us that after our training, she started cutting back her meetings from an hour to 45 minutes and found that they were just as productive at 45 minutes, and everybody saved. And when you add up that 15 minutes that you're saving every week, that can really make a difference in what you can get done in your workday. So really go back to work and think about different things that can be done that will help everybody to improve their focus and manage their time better.
My husband worked at one point long ago for a company that only had standing meetings. You were not allowed to sit down during the meetings. It kept them really short.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that is interesting, because if you are standing, you tend to just be more focused on what's going on. And that can help to raise people's energy levels too.
Yeah.
Or walking meetings too can be helpful.
Those I like a lot.
Especially now that it's getting nicer outside. That can be a nice, give you a little bit of a break, but still get things done at the same time.
Lovely. So we have cutting down your multitasking and cutting down your interruptions to help you focus more, taking purposeful breaks, what did you call them? Purposeful pauses. Yes. And I was taking notes because I love this stuff. I can't say it. Purposeful pauses.
Right.
Car, which I really like. Just really taking notice of where you are and what you're doing, and not paying attention to all the input, the extraneous input, and then taking control of meetings at work and communicating with people about your preferences and your boss's preferences about when to have meetings and communicate. That's a wonderful list of strategies. Thank you, Alisa.
Oh, you're welcome, Beth.
And I understand that you also have a free gift for our people. Tell us about that.
I do. I have a workbook on improving personal and professional effectiveness that's primarily focused on maintaining a positive attitude about yourself, your strengths, and your accomplishments. So I invite everybody to click on the link to that and download the workbook.
That is a wonderful thing. There's so much research about positivity, improving your productivity, and improving your entire team. So that will be an awesome resource for all of us. Thank you so much for that, too.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, Alisa, thank you so much for joining us today. And we have some really great suggestions from you and a great free gift as well. So have a great day and take care.
You too. Thank you, Beth. Bye-bye.
Bye.